Welcome back to the program. Lou and Jackie here, being joined by the CEO of the Iowa Lottery, Matt Strawn, in studio with us. Good to see you, my friend.
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Good morning.
We are talking about Veterans Day, Jackie.
As I say, well, Iowa Lottery recently made a huge announcement, so we thought it only appropriate to bring you in on Veterans Day because that's what it has a lot to do with. So what is this large announcement?
It is. Well, it was an announcement that was 34 years in the making, going back to 1985 when the Iowa Lottery was first started. But last week, the Iowa Lottery announced that it has now raised over $2 billion. That's billion with a B.
With a B.
With a B.
Okay.
$2 billion that have went back to important state causes here in Iowa. And one of those causes, which I know we'll talk about in greater detail, is the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund.
And maybe we need to remind everybody, we all get excited when we buy a lottery ticket knowing that our dreams might come true if those winning, the right numbers are drawn. But it's always about, besides your opportunities of winning big, you're giving back to the state. Explain how that works.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, when the policymakers of this state decided 34 years ago, of course, I was an 11-year-old farm kid at the time, so I wasn't involved in that decision.
So
but,
34 years ago, what was the first lottery game?
The first lottery game was that $1 scratch, match, and win ticket.
Okay.
That was actually, the first one was sold at the fairgrounds in August of 1985. But going back to that, when the state policymakers decided, okay, we need to raise revenue for important causes around the state, many states at that time, of course, were starting lotteries. I don't think it was in their wildest dreams that 3 decades later it would generate over $2 billion for those important state causes.
Right, and the veterans are the ones that are really the benefactors.
They are, and it's interesting. Sometimes players and citizens don't understand. The Iowa Lottery does not make the decisions as to where the money gets spent.
Okay.
Our job is to responsibly raise the money, fund promotions, innovative games, you know that drill, the stuff you're dreaming about, right?
Yeah.
When you have that $2 Powerball ticket in your hand or that $5 scratch ticket that maybe you're given as a holiday gift. But one of the things that the legislature decided that the Iowa Lottery should raise money for is the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund. So the first $2.5 million every year that the Iowa Lottery raises from the sale of lottery products goes to the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund. And what that is, it's really that pot of resources of last resort for any veteran that needs assistance. Perhaps they've exhausted the benefits that are available from the federal level. Perhaps there's other state programs that they're not eligible for. So the Iowa Veterans Commission, under the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs, created this Iowa Veterans Trust Fund. And when they first started it, it was subject to annual appropriations from legislators up in Des Moines. And some years that's competing with other priorities. But they said, wait a minute, this is something that is a priority for Iowa, so let's make sure there is a dedicated stream of funding every year.
So you've locked that in?
We have locked that in. So as of today, the lottery has contributed nearly $30 million to that Iowa Veterans Trust Fund. So we thought, you know, Iowans, you know, we're humble by nature, right?
Right.
So we've got this $2 billion announcement, and I know we're the woohoo people and we're all about promotion. But, you know, I think on this one, we want our beneficiaries to really tell the story of the decision to have an Iowa Lottery and where the proceeds go. So one thing the Iowa Lottery did in conjunction with this announcement that I would encourage all your viewers, perhaps during a commercial break, hop online and go to ialottery.com/veterans. And we released a 3-minute video explaining, in the words of Iowa veterans, what exactly the Iowa Veterans Trust Fund is, and showing them how any veteran they know or veteran's family that needs assistance, how to apply for that.
And I think we have some of that video we can show. Again, we encourage you to go to the website and check it out for yourself. But just, again, highlighting the incredible work that the correlation between the Iowa Lottery and the Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs, what you guys have been able to do together is unbelievable.
Well, it is, and it really tells the story of who Iowans are and what we do. Iowans help each other. And in that video, of course, some of it you'll see when you go there was shot at the Gold Star Museum.
I was going to say, great location if you're wanting to hear and know those local stories.
It is, and so few Iowans know that there's that crown jewel here in the metro, that if they're coming to town from around the state, they should just head up north and visit that and really learn more about the contributions Iowa veterans have had to really the privilege we all have as being Americans.
Now, it's so impressive, the money that you give back to the community, especially the veterans, as we're seeing here, going back. It took 21 years or so for the first billion to be shuffled back into the to the local people here, but that's a short time period after that where we get the second $1 billion.
It is, and it goes back to, I know you asked what the first ticket was, right? The first lottery product was that $1 ticket. Well, anyone that's played the lottery or perhaps walked into their convenience store this morning and got a cup of coffee realizes we've got more than one product now. So
Now, you mentioned the money that goes to the veterans at the beginning of the year. This is earmarked to go to your Veterans Fund. Now, is it just veterans-themed games, or is this lottery in general?
It's lottery in general, and that's a great question, because over the years there have been people that ask, hey, why don't we do this game tied to this cause?
Right.
And this game will raise money just specifically for
Correct.
that cause. And what the lottery has found over the years, it's much better to have just a dedicated benefit that flows from all lottery games.
Okay.
Because when you think about the money that you would have to promote a brand new game, that's probably money better spent actually going to the cause itself. So when when policymakers made the decision, whether it's the Veterans Trust Fund, whether there's a public safety officer survivor benefit fund that the lottery funds insurance for survivors of law enforcement officers and firefighters who have died in the line of duty, or just the general fund. So when you think about the things that the state funds, education, water quality, job training, mental health, all that gets funded by lottery players going in and grabbing that Powerball ticket.
Yeah, and you can kind of
Huge
see that
program.
pie chart there of more details on how this is broken down at the ialottery.com. If you want to learn how to play more, if you want to know more about the Veterans Affairs, we have their website up there as well. But it's kind of exciting. So this took 34 years in the making,
did.
but the second billion of this $2 billion was done in about 13 years. So we're really ramping it up. Iowans are getting excited about playing. Of course, we always say, play responsibly,
Of course.
but when you have a consideration of a dream possibly coming true, but knowing that you're giving back to the state at the same time, it's kind of a win-win no matter what.
Well, it is, and you think about the evolution of the lottery since 1985. In addition to more scratch games that are available that people enjoy playing, Powerball and Mega Millions didn't exist in 1985. So those jackpots, and you think about put the $2 billion in terms that maybe lottery folks understand. It would be the biggest jackpot in the history of either Powerball or Mega Millions if we're talking $2 billion.
Right.
So it really is a jackpot for the state.
Yeah.
One more time, Matt, tell everybody how much the lottery gives to the Veterans Trust Fund every year.
Yep, the first $2.5 million.
Every year. Just
Every
want to
single
reiterate
year.
that. I want to make sure that people are aware that much money is going into that fund every year.
That's exactly right to Iowa veterans, making sure that their needs are met right here at home.
That is so awesome.
That's wonderful. Again, if you want to learn more, we encourage you to go to the website because they have an incredible video that you should watch anyway because it's Veterans Day and it's really going to show you and highlight some amazing things in our state when it comes to our veterans. And how can we see that again?
ialottery.com/veterans.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Wonderful. So good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, Matt.
It's great to see you on this snowy morning.
All right, buddy. Glad you made it safely.
Absolutely. Thank you what you do talking about our veterans. I look forward to seeing those segments later in the show, too.
Love it. Thank you very
And
much.
then tonight, as Matt was hinting at, 6:30 over on Local 5 and 9:30 right here at CW Iowa 23 as we're honoring our heroes. We'll be right back.